Okay. All right. So again, like I said, head coach Randy Trivers is checking in right now. Randy, I appreciate you joining us. I hope you're doing good. Um, I wanted to give you some flowers because I was looking at your background earlier today. Some of my friends know you. One of them played for you at Northwest when you were at Northwest, and some just came across your program. I got some coaches at Flowers High School who came across your program and really recognized it as a really structured and well developed program. But your bio just suggests like you know everything about winning and building championship winning programs, and I want to give you the floor first and foremost to again welcome you on Trapper Dive podcast, but then like kind of dive into like your side of developing as a head coach to where you are today. You've been head coach for, or excuse me, coaching, excuse me, for 27 years. But at the same time, it's been a progress and process to get to where you are. Can you speak about like how you've the lessons you learned along the way to build such a reputation of winning and getting people to the or your players to the level in which they are?
And well, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. And I appreciate
Absolutely.
the kind introduction and the nice compliments. Um, yeah, it's I think now it's going into 29 uh, years. I think almost 30, maybe it's 30, 29 or 30. So it's been a long time. And hopefully God blesses me to uh, keep doing this a lot longer. Uh, but I think the secret to success for any leader is having um, great people around that leader, uh, whoever he or she may be. So I've been very fortunate to have uh, great coaches, great players, great student athletes, and different mentors along the way that have helped um, make it a successful journey as far as the longevity and perhaps some of the quality, and for you to be able to say those nice things. It's definitely not something that I've been able to do or possible to do as a one man band. Far from it. So I've been blessed to have some great folks with me, and whoever those guys that you knew from Northwest, God bless them. I love hearing that, and they might say, hey, make sure that that last name. I never get mad at anybody because everybody calls me Trivers that they've never met me, but it's Trivers with a long I.
Boom,
Uh,
there you
uh,
go.
yeah, Trivers
my
with the
my
long.
bad, coach.
No, not at all. I'm not mad at you, but I know my grandfather, God rest, he would always politely make sure that the name is pronounced right. So in honor of my granddaddy, I would I would say Trivers, and he's a great DC man, my grandfather. So, uh, but yeah, I appreciate the kind introduction, and I would say, blessed to have some great people, uh, you know, like. Like guys like Caleb Williams and Olu Fashanu, and many of the guys I've coached in different places, whether it's at Northwest or Leesburg or the college level, or certainly here at Gonzaga. So, um, yeah, uh, uh, collective effort for sure.
Hey, Coach.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, Coach, definitely appreciate you coming on with us this evening. You know, you spoke on something big there in regards to leadership. Uh, Obviously, you've had the leadership qualities which has helped you get into these opportunities, win National Coach of the Year. But when you took on that opportunity at Gonzaga, they weren't really known as a big time program within the football dynamics and within the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. But shortly, you ended up coming across a quarterback, a young kid in a Caleb Williams, that led you guys to a championship, the first one since 2002. Can you kind of speak on Caleb's leadership skills and also Olu? What they brought to the table, the intangibles, and did you see that in an early point of their careers that they would be in the next couple months getting drafted, first round, Heisman, trophy winner, best offensive lineman in the country, all those different accolades that they've accomplished so far in their career?
Yeah, no, it's a, so I'd be lying to you if I told you that I knew that Caleb Williams would be the Heisman Trophy winner when he was a um, young high school player. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew that Olu Fashanu would be a future #1 draft pick. But certainly I can tell you that those were uniquely special young men, and it doesn't surprise me that they have ascended to where they are. Okay, so again, I would be disingenuous to tell you, oh, I knew it that he would win the Heisman, because that's there's a lot of factors, a lot of things that have to happen for somebody to. I mean, that is such an elite award to gather, or even be a first round draft pick. I mean, that's a very, very rare air that we're talking about. But both of these guys have had really special qualities in them, and Caleb was always a. So they were different in this sense, and they weren't in the same class. Olu was a class ahead of Caleb. All right, but they were different. So Olu had never played football prior to coming to Gonzaga, so we had to try to help develop and mold this this clay, into this beautiful sculpture that he became, right? Um, but the thing is, it takes a, they say it takes a village, but there's got to be the student athlete and the developers. Like, you got to have the right groceries to put together the great meal. Show me a great chef that didn't have good groceries. All right. So the thing with Olu is he had a tremendous, like, let's say Olu has in his makeup, in his DNA, is he really has he truly cares. It's important for him to be top level at anything he does. So it means something to him. So there's a saying that how one does the small things is how they do all things. So Olu's not a guy that picks and chooses when he wants to be good at something. Olu wants to be good at anything he does. So whether that's a friendship, whether that's being a great son, a great brother, whether that's being a great teammate, whether that's in his math class, his English class, which I teach, or it's him in the weight room, or him playing football. Like, he has a strong desire to be outstanding at everything he does, to give his best. And so when you have that, when you're wired that way, and you're not just picking and choosing when to try hard, or I'm dedicated, but only the things that I like. He's a guy that truly has a desire to be great. So you just know, man, with this some of this God-given ability, a human being of that size being able to move that well. When you couple that with that type of mentality, then it's you're going to have success ultimately. And he's a guy that was never afraid to work, and embraces that idea of putting in the work, not afraid to fall down and really get back up. And so it doesn't shock me when I say, okay, God bless this guy with great talent, but he's wired a certain way, and holds himself to a very high standard of performance in everything that he does, to honor. He cares. He's a great heart, so he wants to honor his family and honor his the people that he's in it for. So he was a very inexperienced football player that that really was hungry to learn and get better. And he did that at a rate that's he got better really, really fast, and was an excellent high school football player. obviously had become an excellent college football player at Penn State. And I tell you, it's hard for me to see a guy like that missing as a NFL player because of all the intangibles that he does have. I mean, he has great measurables. All right, being whatever he is, 6'6" plus, 300 plus pounds, and can run that fast and strike that hard. But he's got it here and here. Caleb was a very much experienced youth league player, so different than Olu. Like he understood and played the game with some acumen. So he was like the if you think about it like this, like an entertainer, like you think of like somebody like a great child singer, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson 5. He was great, but you didn't know he was gonna ultimately become the king of pop. And so Caleb, you knew, man, this dude is talented. But you see a lot of talented youth players. There's a lot of talented high school players. They don't end up being great in college. But Caleb, I always say, like, he had a great blend. So when you talk about the quarterback position, so Caleb had a great blend of humility and self-confidence, all right, to go along with his ability. So like Olu, he has some great physical tools. I mean, clearly the way the guy can spin it, the velocity, the accuracy, the way that he can run and move, he's an elite athlete. But it's when you're talking about quarterback, it's what are you above the neck and what are you in the heart, and how do you impact all the others around you? So because that is the focal position, the position. When you talk about the greatest team sport that there is in football, that player is the player that can really move the needle for your team, for your organization, for your program. And so Caleb is he endears himself to his teammates very well. And like when he came into our program, our guys have a way of, like, you always kind of you admire talent, but you don't have to necessarily respect the talented guy unless he has the right intangible quality. So when I say he had a lot of humility when he came into our program. So he didn't have to say, "Hey, everybody, I'm here.
I'm him.
I'm Caleb Williams. Look at me. I'm going to beat you out, senior. I'm going to beat you out, junior. I'm the best." He didn't have to say any of that, but you could tell he carried himself with great confidence. But he was humble. Like he would do the things that a freshman was supposed to do, whether it's, hey, freshman carries the ball bag, or freshman, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have any issue with that, and he let his play do the talking. But where that comes in is, it's like you for that player, like you whether you're a lineman that's protecting that player, or you're a skilled player that's playing on that side of the ball, or you're somebody that's on the other side of the ball, and man, when he's on the field, we got a chance. So he inspires a great confidence, knowing that guy has got the keys to the car, the plane, the boat, whatever, and we're in good hands because he's got a great deal of self-confidence, poise under pressure. Okay, so you just know, man, this dude wants to take the shot. He wants to be at the plate. He wants to throw the ball in the, whether it's we're talking about 5 seconds left on the basketball court, we're talking about the 9th inning with 2 outs, or we're talking about 4 seconds left in the WCC championship, and we're talking it up. Yeah.
So there's matter of fact, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and start there because I had a question about Olu, but 2018 it's vague for me because I had to remember it, even just looking at the article of the game. And even like when I look back at it, I was like, do I remember how much do I remember of this game? But just even looking at clips and stories of what happened with DeMatha and Gonzaga in that game, and seeing an article where there was some quotes in there just about like the level of uh um how can I say this, like the I guess I will go with confidence, like the resiliency to come back down 20, I believe at one point, to Demantha. Just walk us through the moment where you've seen, even if it is that game, coach, but the moment you've seen like Caleb Williams ascend in terms of his maturity, but also in terms of his growth on the field, and the things that you thought or wasn't sure yet that he was capable of.
Yeah. So Caleb, he has a in competitive moments, like what I was getting at, like he has like I've been around a lot of different athletes, at different levels, and so I think you're around a lot of really good athletes, and it's easy for somebody to say sitting in a chair, "Hey man, this is what I will do on Friday night," or next year, this is what I'm going to do. But when they get to that point, there's a different level of pressure. There's a different level of resistance. There's somebody across from you, or multiple people. And then, then there's another level though. There's a level of like, and I would say this, and I've never coached in the NBA or the NFL or MLB, but the idea that there's some really, really high level athletes, but in the moments, like the really, really critical moments, you got to have this gene in you, like this, or this chip in you, that says really, truly, like people might say, like say you're a receiver or a corner, and it's seconds left in the game, and there's one play, and there's you're one of 5 guys that can go out for a pass. Are you really the guy that's thinking in your mind, I want the ball? Or are you kind of thinking, boy, I hope they throw it elsewhere, because if I catch it, or if they throw it to me and I drop it, you know what I mean? So like, do you really have the gene, or you really want it? Same thing, the guy that's covering. Are you saying, man, I hope they throw it to this guy because I'm going to make the play on the ball? Or are you thinking, doggone it, I hope they throw it over there, deep down inside? It's like the guy up the plate. Do you really want to be that guy with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th with the game on the line, the bases loaded, and do you really want it? So Caleb, like, unlike any other athlete that I've been around, like I know, this guy really, really, really wants it in those moments. You like, and it's not that every time it happens, he's successful, but he believes he can be successful, and then thus, yep, and everybody else, you feel it, it, and that inspires others, so he's so it's unique in that so you talk about that game, that's not possible if you don't have that mentality, that game, or there are other scenarios and other games where the team is behind, or things are looking a little bit bleak. I don't know that you could make up a story any better than that, the one that you guys brought up, the 2018 thing, but it does speak to his mental makeup, and his belief, and then how that inspires others around him. I think that night, that was his sophomore year, so that obviously confirmed some things. But even before then, there were just episodes, whether it was the semifinal the week before that, or different games that he played in his freshman year and in the sophomore year, that you could see, man, this dude, he has a certain competitive excellence and competitive poise that's just it's a little bit uniquely different.
As the youngsters say, that dog or I'm him. uh,
Basically, yeah.
came, came into the program with. Now, I want to ask you, being that you've had the success at Gonzaga and you've worked with these alumni such as Caleb Williams and Olu Fashanu, um, have these NFL teams started reaching out to you to get some perspective on their characteristics? How you just broke down on here for us, like have they been contacting you to find out what takes them to the next level? What different nuances did you experience in their high school career that pushed them to whether it be Oklahoma, USC, Penn State?
Yeah, no, there have been some, multiple conversations that I've had with different NFL franchises that are doing their research. When a NFL franchise is, it's an investment, so they want to make sure that they're doing their research to because they want to, you're investing in a stock, man. You want that stock to be a sure stock, so I've had some conversations for sure about both of the people inquiring about both of those young men, and so I'm happy to convey to these folks like what they're made of, because you can oftentimes see things on the field, or you can see these measurables on paper, but there's certain things that you can't really get off of a paper or the computer, or, observing from afar. You have to kind of know time in and time out how somebody's built, what their mind is like and what their heart's like. So I'm happy to, when asked or when engaged by an NFL franchise, I'm happy to, uh, tell the story, if you will, in terms of what each of these young men really are. And I think it speaks to, who they are today, but also who they're going to be, because this has been a consistent pattern of, man, this is what I've seen of him from these in his formative years, from the age of whatever, 14 to 18 or 19, and then then not with them every day now, but being able to see where they've evolved in their journey since being here. And I think it's that's always a valuable conversation that I'm always happy to have with people, because these guys are very uniquely special.
So let's add to that part, if you don't mind, Coach. What are some, if you had to give one for each, because you could probably think of 1,000, but if you could have one for each, like off the field story for Caleb and Olu that kind of shed lights into who they are as a person, what would a story be for each of those players?
I don't know that I can pinpoint like one crazy special thing, but I was thinking the other day, because I think a coach was talking to somebody like, so these guys are extraordinary athletes that are already reached a certain level of fame, if you will. So when people see Olu or see Caleb, whether it's now or a year from now, which their fame will probably just keep growing, and wow, look at that amazing athlete, and wow, they, can I touch your shoulder? Can I see you? Can you, sign this for me? Can I get a picture with you? But I think that the thing that's awesome about these guys, like as people will think, wow, I can't even believe, I don't know if I walk up to him, if he'll say hello, or, these dudes are amazingly down to earth, ordinary people. So it's like, in being in the Gonzaga community when they were here, Caleb had a great way of interacting, connecting with different people, young, old, black, white, red, brown, green, yellow, whatever. And the same thing with Olu. Olu, you would think, man, this guy, look at this guy with the the big strong arms and the shoulders and the all that, and you think, man, is this guy gonna what kind of guy is he? But you couldn't find a more kinder, more considerate, loving human being than this guy. But again, I use the word humble for Caleb, like Olu, just to sit down and just have a conversation. He's not, those guys, both of them, they're not too big, too cool, too good to talk to you, or to talk to you, or to sit with you and listen and learn about who you are. So they naturally endear themselves to others because, wow, when you really find out, like, they're just ordinary guys, man. They can laugh with the best of them, and love with the best of them, and in a way that you probably come away saying, wow, I assumed these things about this big celebrity, this incredible celebrity. I thought he would be more like this or that, but just really, really down to earth and ordinary, like the three of us might say to ourselves, man. And you come away with that. That's what makes them even more extraordinary, really. And I think that's what these guys are. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Hey, Coach, man, definitely appreciate your time. And I have another question before Maul gets in the last question before we let you go. Um, you being a Washingtonian and seeing what's been going on within the Washington franchise, with them having the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, they need a quarterback. And there's been some conversations circulating about, hey, should they stay at number 2 and select one of the other guys, or should they be aggressive in moving up for who we assume to be the number 1 pick, more than likely Caleb Williams? Do you think that Washington, one, should be aggressive in acquiring a guy such as Caleb Williams, not just for his on the field talent, but behind closed doors, what he can bring to the community, the locker room, and so forth? But also, what do you think about that type of individual now playing within their hometown, as a couple guys in the past have experienced being drafted by the hometown team? Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. Chase Young, what do you think could be challenging in that regard, if there were any challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, I think it's hard for me to know exactly what the inner workings of a franchise, and sort of the pieces and the fit, and exactly what people are looking for. But I would say, uh, knowing Caleb, um, and believing in what I think he can be, I think he has great, great, great value. So to be a franchise, as you sort of said, hey, um, they're not sitting necessarily at the number 1 pick today, but obviously there's talk and discussion as to maybe we could get there and perhaps have that opportunity to draft a Caleb Williams. Of course, we're assuming that Caleb Williams is the number 1 pick, which of course I'm biased and think that he is deserving of that status. And maybe the only other guy that I would feel great about being the number 1 pick would be Olu, right? If they picked Olu number 1, but just going back, I think, um, boy, I think it'd be a heck of a story to for the Commanders um, to be able to have the opportunity to choose Caleb Williams and what that might mean for the greater DC area, the DMV, and having a sort of a hometown hero right here to continue to try to uplift Commanders football and bring them back to the glory days of the 80s and 90s. But I think we'll see. I think that's a lot of pressure, to possibly on a person to say, man, is this player the savior of our franchise? But to be honest with you, like, if you're the number one pick wherever you go, there's going to be pressure.
It's gonna be pressure.
And I would say this, that Caleb Williams, if there's anybody that as an athlete that I believe can handle pressure when it comes to that type of thing, expectations and performance, I believe strongly in how he handles those things and deals with those things because the way he's made up. So I think he would have a great perspective, and he has a very, very high standard for himself that that I don't know that the pressure would necessarily be overwhelmingly negative for Caleb Williams. So yeah, it'd be a heck of a story. I don't know how this thing's going to turn out in April with the draft, but it'd be a heck of a story if it did turn out that way, where he would be with the Commanders, or like you mentioned, some of the other local players that played in the area that ended up with the Commanders. I mean, even if how these scenarios work, if Olu were to be a Commander in some scenario, that would be an incredible thing too. So although not as quote unquote sexy as the quarterback.
Yeah, I would say about that quarterback spot.
That's right. But with all the deals that are made on draft day, the trade ups, the trade downs, it's hard to know that with a crystal ball what the heck is really going to happen on those days. But certainly the two guys that we've talked about tonight, I think they'll be somewhere in this league. And remains to be seen where, but they'll be somewhere, and I think both of them will do extremely well.
And I think it also volumes about your program and what you've done. So we definitely want to give you your flowers for everything that you've done for the Gonzaga program and just what you're doing, helping these young men throughout life and preparing them for the next moments. Because not everyone is going to be a Caleb Williams or Olu. Where they possibly go first round, but they could be so many other things in other industries of their life and career.
Yeah, no, thank you for those kind words. And these guys are blessed with great families. Okay, both of them, a great message for everybody out there as far as like, not everybody can be a Heisman Trophy, All-American, first round draft player, but if we commit to it, we can all be All-American parents. If we really commit to it. So he both of these young men were had a great family foundation with their moms and dads, and I think it starts there, and that gives us a fighting chance to win the game in the end. When we have great family support. I think that's where we can all start, right? And so both of these guys had that, and then they have been around some other really good folks and influencing them. Certainly at the college level, their coaches, teammates, professors, people that have touched them there to get them ready for the NFL. But I like to think that the Gonzaga community also helped those guys a little bit, as far as and not just me as their head coach, but as I said, our staff, our faculty, the students that they're in the classrooms with, their teammates, and the community. I think in some small way, just that support network and that positivity, that great energy, that great love, uh, uh, to help us be the best we can be. So I appreciate you guys for the opportunity to talk about these dudes.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach Trivers. You know, I
My man.
got the name right. Ain't messing up. No. You know what's funny though, because I did feel bad. I got a name. I got a name. My name is Jamal. And people get a little weird with that U in my name. I don't think they ever seen a U before. So sometimes they catch me with the Jamuel or Jamule, and I'm like, damn, I'm over here messing up. I'm messing up Coach name, and I ain't even met him yet. But
No,
no, I know how it is, man. It's just a simple correction. But I definitely appreciate you coming on and shedding some light into Olu and Caleb. We can talk about these guys all day, honestly. But you were generous enough to give us 30 minutes, Coach. So I appreciate you coming through and shedding some light on these guys, man. And I wish you all the best. The all season training did it start already, or is it coming up?
yeah, no, we're working, baby. You know,
Okay.
we're working for sure, for sure. Yeah,
Sounds good, man. Well, again, like I said, take care, boss man, and I appreciate you coming through. And good luck to them. Good luck to them boys, them Eagles, this season. As what? Well, we got a few more months to the season starts, but yes,
yeah.
appreciate you checking in.
Appreciate you fellas again. Thank you for the opportunity to connect, and God bless you guys. And anything that you ever need in the future, don't hesitate to contact. I'd be happy to connect with you, good men. So thank you.
All right, here we go. Yes, sir. There's go, Coach